Have you ever stood before a slot machine in the neon-lit, cacophonous sea of a casino, feeling your heartbeat gripped tightly by an invisible hand? Before your eyes, the screen flashes with vibrant colors, two jackpot symbols perfectly aligned, the background music swelling to a crescendo, each note hammering at your taut nerves. You hold your breath, your blood seemingly frozen, all your hopes pinned on the final, fate-deciding spin of the third reel, only for it to stop, cruelly, a hair's breadth away on a blank space. That crushing sense of so close yet so far, that intense unwillingness to accept defeat, surges through you like an electric current, almost instinctively prompting you to drop another coin, fueled by a resolute belief. Next time it's definitely the jackpot. Trust me, this is no accident. It's not a twist of luck, but a meticulously designed, nearly imperceptible trap crafted by countless mathematicians, psychologists, and engineers behind the casino's curtain. The slot machine, this seemingly simple game of chance, is not driven by luck at its core, but by a precise mathematical model and sophisticated psychological manipulation hidden beneath its dazzling facade. Its sole purpose is to draw you in, step by step, until you willingly, unknowingly, empty your pockets. Today, this video will rip away the slot machine's warm, inviting veil, exposing the 6 core tactics casinos use to legally cheat, and guide you deep into the labyrinth of steel and code, revealing how these machines make you lose convincingly, yet leave you craving more. When you step into a casino facing rows of mesmerizing, colorful slot machines, your first instinct might be that each spin is like flipping a coin, heads or tails, a fair 50-50 shot, an equal chance. But the moment that thought forms, you've already fallen into the first layer of the trap. In reality, one of the core mechanisms of slot machines is a hidden system called weighted odds. This means the probability of certain symbols or outcomes has been meticulously adjusted, far lower than what your intuition might suggest. Let's use a simple analogy. Imagine a slot machine mimicking a coin toss, where you expect a perfect 50-50 chance of heads or tails. In truth, the machine's internal programming might weight the lose outcome to a staggering 90%, leaving your win odds at a mere 10%. On the surface, each spin appears random, the game seemingly fair, but what you don't see is that the invisible scales of probability have been heavily tipped in the casino's favor before the game even begins. This weighted mechanism is built on a core component called the random number generator, RNG, which fully complies with the stringent requirements of most global gambling regulations. This is its slyest trick. The RNG, through highly complex algorithms, generates millions of numbers per second, ensuring the number selected when you press the button is utterly unpredictable, cloaking the slot machine in a veneer of legitimate randomness. However, casino designers don't need to tamper with the RNG's randomness. They simply adjust the weighting of outcomes tied to each random number in the back end. In other words, they can tweak the probability distribution code to make low-value or non-winning symbols, like the ubiquitous blank spaces, or small payout rewards appear far more frequently than the heart-pounding jackpot symbols. For a concrete example, picture a slot machine with 10 different symbols on its screen. Your gut might tell you each symbol has a 1 in 10 chance of appearing. But through the magic of weighted odds, the coveted jackpot symbol's true probability might be set to a despair-inducing 1 in 100, or even 1 in 1,000. This massive information asymmetry leads players to overestimate their chances of hitting the big prize, pressing the button repeatedly in an atmosphere of hope, while unknowingly losing more money within a precisely calculated, disadvantageous framework. The deeper impact of weighted odds is how they subtly distort a player's expectation of victory. You might spin and see the jackpot symbol land just above or below the pay line, sighing in frustration, thinking you were so close to success. But in the machine's weighted probability design, that spin, mathematically speaking, was likely miles away from the true jackpot. This psychological manipulation exploits the human brain's misperception of near success, driving players to pour in more money, convinced the next spin will turn things around. Reverse engineering analyses of popular Las Vegas slot machines reveal that the actual probability of hitting a jackpot symbol can be as low as 1 in 10 million, 0.00001%. Yet through dazzling visual effects and frequent small wins to numb your senses, players are lulled into a powerful illusion that the life-changing jackpot is just within reach. To illustrate this more vividly, suppose you're playing a slot machine with a clearly stated return-to-player (RTP) rate of 90%. This means, theoretically, for every dollar you bet, you'll get back 90 cents over the long term. But note the key phrase, over the long term. This is a statistical average derived from millions, even tens of millions of spins. In your personal gaming experience, the short term, you might spin dozens or hundreds of times without winning a thing. Casino designers use weighted odds to ensure the house holds a mathematical edge in nearly every individual game, while players, deceived by the illusion of randomness, remain immersed in their self-woven hopes. If weighted odds are the casino's game rules, then the modern slot machine's other core manipulation tool, the virtual reel, is the secret weapon that enforces them. Traditional mechanical slot machines relied on physical reels, each with a fixed number of symbols, say 16. Back then, players could intuitively gauge that each symbol had about a 1 in 16 chance of appearing. But in the electronic age, virtual reels in digital slot machines upended this logic entirely. No longer constrained by physical space, they operate purely on complex computer code, with symbol counts and distributions far exceeding what you see on the screen. It's a grand visual deception. Take a classic 3-reel slot machine. On the screen, each reel might still appear to cycle through 16 symbols, but unbeknownst to you, the internal code might contain hundreds or thousands of virtual symbol positions. For instance, the coveted jackpot symbol might be assigned just one position on a virtual reel with 1,024 positions, while common cherry symbols get 50 positions, lemons 100, and those profit-draining blank spaces a whopping 500. On the surface, you might think your odds of hitting the jackpot are 1/16 times 1/16 times 1/16, but in reality, they could be 1/1, 0.24 times 1/1, 0.24 times 1/1, 0.24, an astronomical gap. This vast probability disparity is entirely random and legally compliant, but for the unaware player, it's profoundly disadvantageous. The virtual reel's sneakiest trick lies in its perfect use of visual deception to mislead players' judgment. As the reels spin rapidly, your eyes frequently catch glimpses of cherries or other low-value symbols, creating the illusion that the machine is active and likely to pay out. In reality, this is only because those low-value symbols are weighted heavily on the virtual reel. Leaked data from popular slot machines shows that blank spaces can account for over 60% of virtual reel positions in some machines, while the coveted jackpot symbol might constitute less than 0.1%. This asymmetrical design ensures players frequently experience the thrill of near wins visually, while mathematically, they're almost never close to the real jackpot. Modern multi-line slot machines amplify this manipulation to the extreme. These machines often feature 20, 50, or even hundreds of pay lines, allowing players to bet on multiple lines simultaneously. Casino designers can independently fine-tune the odds for each pay line, ensuring low-value symbols appear frequently on certain lines to create the illusion of constant wins. For example, you might win 50 cents across 5 different pay lines in a single spin, totaling $2.50, but if your total bet was $2, you've actually lost $1.50. Yet the machine erupts with loud music, flashing lights, and even a winner display, making you feel like you've won, prolonging your playtime and numbing you to your actual losses. The virtual reel's design, combined with sensory stimulation, achieves a seamless illusion. As the reels spin, smooth animations and carefully crafted sound effects make the process feel suspenseful and uncertain, even though the outcome was determined by the RNG the moment you pressed the button. This not only heightens immersion and entertainment, but critically distorts your perception of the true odds, making you believe victory is just one spin away. Next, we'll discuss one of the most psychologically devastating and rationality-shattering techniques in slot machine design, the near miss. Picture the scene again. The reels slow to a stop amid high anticipation. 2 high-value jackpot symbols lock perfectly onto the pay line. Your heart nearly leaps out of your chest, and the world sounds fade away, leaving only the final, fateful spin of the 3rd reel. But it stops on the blank space right next to the jackpot symbol. In that moment, you're hit with an indescribable mix of crushing disappointment and fervent hope, feeling just that close to a life-changing jackpot. Your heart races, adrenaline surges, and almost without thinking, you drop another coin. Know this, that gut-wrenching moment is no stroke of bad luck. It's a potent psychological trap deliberately coded into the machine, designed to make you believe victory is tantalizingly close. The near miss is achieved technically in 2 main ways. First, through the weighted reels discussed earlier, designers strategically adjust the distribution of blank spaces. For example, a virtual reel with 1,000 symbol positions might have 800 blanks, with most programmed to cluster around the jackpot symbol. This makes it highly likely that when the reel stops, you'll see a blank space right next to the jackpot, creating a visual near miss. According to Nevada Gaming Commission rules, slot machines can be designed so that near misses occur up to 12 times more frequently than actual jackpot wins. This seemingly player-protective regulation actually opens the door for psychological manipulation. In many global gambling markets, similar rules exist, and casino designers push this ratio to the legal limit. A 2023 academic study found that on a highly popular slot machine, players might experience up to 10 near misses per 100 spins, while actually hitting the jackpot only 0.8 times on average. This high frequency of near misses creates a severe cognitive bias, making players falsely believe they're just one step from the jackpot, driving them to keep pouring in money. The second way near misses are engineered mirrors of famous marketing game, McDonald's Monopoly. In that game, players easily collect common stickers like Park Place, but the rare, critical stickers like Boardwalk are issued in such low quantities they're nearly impossible to obtain. Similarly, a slot machine's programming can make the first two reels jackpot symbols appear with relatively higher probability, say 1/10 for the first and January 20th for the second, but the third critical reel's jackpot symbol might be set to a drastically lower 1/500. As the reels spin and the first two jackpot symbols appear, the machine blasts exhilarating music and flashing lights, heightening your anticipation. But mathematically, the third symbol is almost guaranteed to miss. It's a carefully orchestrated drama that begins with hope and ends in disappointment, with you as the repeatedly fooled protagonist. The psychological impact of near misses is profound. Studies show they strongly stimulate the brain's reward system, sometimes even more than small wins, creating a compelling urge to keep trying because the brain interprets the failure as a signal that success is imminent. A Las Vegas regular once shared on a forum that he encountered near misses over a dozen times in a row on a machine, convincing him the jackpot was imminent. He ended up sinking over $500 into it, winning nothing. This design ruthlessly exploits humanity's innate hope and flawed pattern-seeking, luring you to chase an elusive victory mirage. Now, let's explore an even more deceptive trap, one where you feel like you're winning money while actually losing. Have you ever played a slot machine for half an hour, feeling like you've won multiple times with constant celebratory sound effects, only to stand up and realize your wallet is emptier than when you started? This is the win that's actually a loss trap, known in the industry as losses disguised as wins. Modern slot machines, especially multi-line ones, use complex designs and intense sensory stimuli to make players believe they've won when they're steadily losing. Take a typical example. You bet $5 on a spin, and the machine pays out $2. Mathematically, you've lost $3. But the machine celebrates this win with dazzling lights and loud sounds, creating positive psychological feedback that overshadows the $3 loss. Multi-line slot machines are the cornerstone of this tactic. A machine might have 20, 30, or even hundreds of pay lines. Suppose you win 50 cents on 5 different pay lines in a single spin, totaling $2.50. But if your total bet was $5, you've lost $2.50. Yet the machine logs this as a win, blasting exaggerated sound effects and animations to make you feel good. This design's insidiousness lies in shifting your focus from net profit or loss to number of wins. Players develop the illusion of winning a lot, becoming numb to their ongoing losses. Even more troubling, the machine's stated return to player RTP rate is often gravely misunderstood. An RTP of 90% means that, over millions of spins, 90% of all money wagered is returned to players as prizes. But in the short term, your personal session, each spin might result in a loss. For instance, a player on a 92% RTP machine bets $1 per spin for 100 spins, totaling $100. Theoretically, their average loss should be $8. But in reality, due to short-term variance, they could lose the entire $100 in half an hour. Machines exploit this variance to generate profits. Multi-line slot machines also encourage players to increase their total bet per spin. Many advertise a minimum bet of just 1 cent per line, sounding enticing. But if you play all 50 pay lines, your spin costs 50 cents or more. Designers fine-tune each pay line's odds to ensure frequent small wins, but the total payout remains below your total bet. A 2024 gambling industry report revealed that in Las Vegas, multi-line slot machines have an average per-spin loss rate of about 15%, far higher than most players' expectations. If weighted odds and virtual reels are the slot machine's hardware and software, what comes next is its atmosphere creation to captivate players. The flashing lights, carefully crafted sound effects, and smooth animations aren't mere decorations. They're psychological weapons honed by casino designers. Each time you press the spin button, the machine plays upbeat music and displays vibrant lights, crafting a tense, thrilling, hopeful atmosphere. Even after a loss, a brief animation or sound effect might make you feel you've made progress. When you hit a small win or experience a near miss, the machine celebrates extravagantly, amplifying your brain's excitement and fueling anticipation for the next spin. These seemingly trivial sensory stimuli are backed by solid behavioral psychology principles. The intermittent reinforcement theory shows that random, unpredictable small rewards are more addictive than fixed ones. Casino designers leverage this by sprinkling inconsequential small payouts amid losing streaks, continuously stimulating your brain's reward system, turning you into a lab rat pressing the button endlessly. A 2022 study found that slot machine sounds and lights extend average playtime by over 25%, even during consistent losses. Modern machines are even smarter, dynamically adjusting sensory stimuli based on player behavior. Some detect your betting frequency or amount, increasing light flashes and sound intensity if you speed up or bet more, heightening the near-victory sensation. Internal data from a popular slot machine revealed that after 10 consecutive no-win spins, the machine automatically triggers more frequent, unrelated animations, making players think it's heating up for a big win. While this doesn't alter the odds, it powerfully influences psychology, making it harder to walk away. You might think these tactics border on cheating, but shockingly, despite making slot machines seem rigged, they're entirely legal within regulatory frameworks. Global gambling laws mandate that slot machine outcomes rely on an unpredictable RNG and that RTP and odds tables be transparent. However, these laws don't and can't prohibit designers from using weighted odds, virtual reels, or sensory stimuli to manipulate player psychology and behavior. These tactics are legal because the machines operate as advertised, just with odds heavily stacked against players who are largely unaware. Players' misconceptions often stem from a fundamental misjudgment of randomness. Many, even seasoned gamblers, fall prey to the gambler's fallacy, believing a machine that hasn't paid out in a while is due for a big win. This flawed logic drives countless players to keep betting after losses, hoping to turn things around. But the brutal truth is that each spin is an independent random event. Past results don't influence future odds. Machines have no memory, no sympathy for your losses. Casino designers precisely exploit this widespread psychological flaw, crafting mechanisms that make players believe victory is imminent. For example, an Australian player once sank 1,000 Australian dollars into a machine, convinced it was due for a jackpot after a long, cold streak. He won back less than 200 Australian dollars, losing over 800 Australian dollars. Such stories play out daily in casinos worldwide, starkly highlighting players' widespread misunderstanding of odds and the formidable power of machine design. To truly grasp slot machine manipulation, we must look at their historical evolution. The earliest slot machines, like the 1890s Liberty Bell, were fully mechanical, using physical reels where each symbol's odds were transparently tied to the number of slots, offering players a relatively clear chance. But in the 1970s, electronic slot machines revolutionized the game. Designers gained unprecedented, almost godlike control through RNGs and virtual reels, freely adjusting odds and symbol distributions within legal bounds. By the 1980s, multi-line slot machines amplified the casino's edge, allowing simultaneous bets on multiple pay lines while complex algorithms tweaked each line's odds to create the illusion of frequent wins. In the 21st century, touchscreen technology and high-definition displays made sensory stimuli richer and more immersive. Modern machines incorporate video game elements like engaging story animations and interactive bonus rounds, deepening immersion and softening the sting of losses. For instance, a movie-themed slot might trigger a bonus game when you're close to a jackpot, letting you interact in a mini-game that feels winnable through skill, even though the outcome is still a pre-programmed loss. This not only boosts entertainment, but, through clever psychological manipulation, significantly extends playtime.